So we do Netivot Shalom, page ק"י, ספר בראשית, פרשת וירא, and in the middle in. והנה הייתה בספרים הקדושים, it says in the holy book, שמה שנוטלים מהצדיק את כל מדרגותיו בשעת הניסיון, זו רק המדרגות שזכה להם על ידי סייעתא דשמיא. So it said in the holy book that when there is a nisayon for a tzaddik, they taking his achievement or levels that were given to him from heaven. Right? Sometimes we get presents from heaven. We can be born with whatever midah that we're giving by Shammai, but other things that we are working on them and we put an effort, that stays with us in the time of trial, time of test, when we have an nisayon. They're taking from us the levels, the thing that we have that we're giving to us from heaven, but they're leaving us with the one that we were working on. Right? They said, and mitiagim alim, that we put an effort. They remain with him. They were not taking in the time of the Nisan. Veine, and here. Midato shel Avraham Avinu midat ahava. Right? So the main character of Avraham, of midah of Avraham Avinu, it's love. As it says, Avraham Oavi, etc. It's mentioned in the Torah. And to that level of ahava, הגיע Avraham Avinu עד הגיע. But he was not born with that. He put an effort to that. He was working on it. As the Saba Kadosh, Maran HaKadosh Mikuvrin, Zechuto Elgenu said, once he said, and very excited, V'chidush she'Avraham Avinu lo nisaf b'ur kasdim. What, it's a chidush? It's like, is it a miracle that he was not burned in the furnace in Ur Kasdim? The miracle is how Ur Kasdim was not burned from the love of, from the fire of the love that Avraham Avinu has to Hashem. And said that this is teach us about the size, about the godel ava, how much Hashem, how much Avraham love Hashem. He says, "V'ine kol hanisyonot shel Avraham Avinu, all these nisyonot that he was passing, was in the level of love. Shal yedei zeh amad b'chol nisyonot, and because of that, because they left him with the love, because this is what he gained by himself, so it remained to him during the nisayon. שהמידה שאדם משיג בגיעתו, right? But we just learned that if you're putting an effort, it stays with you. However, after all of the nisyanot, all of these tests, you have the last one, which was the Akedah, which was the strongest one, the difficult one. And in that nisayon, he couldn't pass only with the midah of Ava by itself, but he needs to have another midah of Yira, Gvurot, strength. And this is what it says, Ve'elokim nisa et Avraham, right? Because we know that we have few attributes to Hashem that manifested by the name. So the name Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, Shem Havaya, is love and kindness, and the word Elokim is judgment, right? We can even refer to judges, people, as Elohim, right? Because they are the judges. There is not Hashem, the name of Hashem, it's Hashem of judgment, strength, gvurot. And it says, Elokim nisat Avraham. So Elokim was trying Avraham. And that nisayon of the Akedah was in the level of Yira, which maybe at the time Avraham Avinu didn't have in a certain level, or for sure not in the same level of love. And therefore it says, Belashon Nisa. Not in the nisayon, not in the same test of Lech Lecha Me'artzecha, right? Leave your country, leave your homeland, etc., that Hashem said. Because here was the difficult one, especially, and the one that you need to have, the midah of Yira as well. And therefore, the depth of this, the test of this nisayon was mainly from Avraham and not for Yitzchak. Because Yitzchak, his level, his midah, was Yira and Gvura. Right, so Avraham is Ava, Yitzchak is Gvura, and Yaakov Avinu, guess what? The grandchild of Avraham actually took the love from Avraham and the gvura from Yitzchak, and it was the middle of Emet, truth, in the middle, right? So it was combination, Yaakov Avinu. So Avraham here, with the nisayon of the Akedah, he needed to have the strength, the gvura, from Yitzchak. So nisayon basically, although, you know, you take somebody and you're telling him, Hashem commanded me to slaughter you, right? He will smack you and go and run away. So the same was not for Yitzchak, because Yitzchak was saying, oh yeah, sure, but make sure you tie the rope very strong because I don't want to move and to be disqualified, to be a korban pasul. So Abraham here is standing in front of this nisayon. He have the level of Ava, but now let's see how we can overcome that love without having the enough level of Viira, of strength, because after all, he needs to slaughter his own son. The only son that he have, that Hashem told him that he will inherit you. And now suddenly he's telling him, okay, now you're going to slaughter him. It's a big contradiction. So how is he going to inherit me if I need to slaughter him? Doesn't make sense. Especially when he love him so much. But Avraham Avinu love Hashem. So now we see that in the Nisayon HaAkedah, it's known that he's also Yareh Elokim, he fear Hashem. Because only with the level of love, he could not do that. Can't do that. He cannot stand that Nisayon past the Nisayon. וזהו מאן דכתוב, this is what it says in the verse, והלכו שניהם יחדיו, that they walk together. Right, so one verse say that Avraham Avinu is telling Ishmael and Eliezer, you stay here, and me and the boy walking together, right? The verse said, והלכו שניהם יחדיו. While they were walking together, Yitzchak asked him, Father, I see the fire, I see the right, I see the woods, I see the knife, but aren't you forgetting something? Where is the sacrifice? And Avinu is telling him, Hashem will show the sacrifice, you. And then it says, and then they will walk together, which means Abraham consent, and Yitzchak consent. Yitzchak agree with that. When Abraham revealed to him only that time that is the sacrifice. And it says, Yelchu shneim yachdav, according to the Ari Kadosh, Akedah, what is Akedah? It's from tying together, hooking up something together, which means La'akod is to tie. So, or to stick two things, right? To put two things together. He said, Shemidat HaChesed, the midah of love, connected with the level of the Gvura, of the strength. And the Gvura level connected with the Chesed, with the kindness. Like three things, like a triangle. And we can say with that Avraham Avinu, he saw that in this Nisayon, he could not hold only with love, right? Peace and love will not work here. It's not good enough. And he needs to have the Yira. So he attached himself to Yitzchak, his son, that come from the level of fear. So love and fear together. And therefore it says in the Pasuk, that they walk together. Now they are together, love and fear. And according to that, similar to that, we found in the Nisayon of Yosef. Right, so the midah of Yosef, the character of Yosef is Yesod, foundation. Right, it's giving the shefa, the bracha for the rest of the midot. Although Yesod is foundation, and basically it's in the map of the midot. Right, for example, Chokhmah, Bina, Dat, they're all in the top of the head. Yesod is in the middle of the body, right, when the body ends, basically the bottom. But still, it's the most important one because it's giving all the bracha to the rest of the midot. So Yosef was in the middle of Yesod, foundation. And for that, in order not to waste sperm for nothing, right? Because this is actually the middle of Yesod. This is what it's all about, more or less. But for that, not to do that, you have to be always in the level of fear. Right? As it says in Bereshit, Zot asuch v'chayut ha'elokim ani yareh. Right? Yosef said, I fear Hashem. That was his level of Elokim. Ani yareh, midat ha'ira. As the Admor Baal Bet Avraham said, Isha yirat Hashem. Right? We sang it, I think, in the Eshet Chayil. Isha yirat Amonai. Right? Keneged in Netivot, because this is against the desires of women. So the only way to overcome this kind of desires is only with the level of fear, because love, as much as we love Hashem, there's also a negative love, and for sure, a man and a woman, that characters of love, that midah of love, can fall into the negative one. So his advice was against the nisayon of Eshet Putifar, Yirat Shamayim. Because there is a judge and there is a judgment, right? And Hashem, Vashaborei Yitbarach, Yodea Kol Maseh Bnei Adam V'Kol Mashavotam. Hashem knows what we're doing and what we're thinking. And only with the level of fear, of fearing Hashem, even the basic sphere of, punishment, that should be a ammunition for us to fight the evil inclination in that level of desire of women. And that was the level of Yosef, because otherwise you couldn't stand that. And according to that, there is a question from הרב הקדוש המגיד הגדול ממזרית, זכותו גלנו. למה אמר אברהם לאבימלך, right? So the second time when Sarah was taken from Abraham after Paro was with Avimelech, right? And Avimelech, when Hashem punished him, then Avimelech goes to Abraham and he asked him, he said, why didn't you tell me it's your wife? Why you let me taking her? And Abraham answered to him, he said, רק אין יראת אלוקים במקום הזה. והרגוני. You have everything here, peace and love, liberalism, progressiving, whatever. You have everything here except one thing. You don't fear God, and therefore you can find any reason in the world to kill me, to take the wife, for example. Everybody knows over there in Avimelech country that it's forbidding, it's a violation to sleep with a married woman. So it's wrong. But there's no problem if you're killing the husband. So murdering the husband, it's okay. Because then you're not violating the married woman, right? So this is what Abraham told him. Yeah, you're all lunatics here. You're off the derech. So that's why there is no fear Hashem here. You have everything else, but it's not good. And that was the main level of Abraham Avinu, love. והיה צריך לומר, right? So he said, והיה צריך להיות, רק אין אהבת אלוקים, right? So why Abraham? If Abraham Mida is love, he should say, there is no love Hashem here. Why he said, there is no fear of Hashem? Because the desire of Avimelech was desire for women. That's why he took Sarah. And in order to overcome that negative love, you need to have only fear. And that's why Abraham told him, you don't have fear here. You have love, negative love, positive love, whatever love you have. It's not good. Because you can kill the husband just to be with the wife. ועניין הפעם השלישית, and the third time when it's mentioned, הלכו יחדיו, right? So first, they're working together. Then Abraham is telling Yitzchak about the plan to slaughter him, and then they walk together again. This is the second time, and now the third time. So after the Akedah, they're going back to Eliezer and Ishmael, right? וישב אברהם מנערה ויקום וילכו יחדיו, and then they walk together again. So we could say in other place when it says man da'ita v'aser satan lefanenu machlen, right? So I think it's in Arvit, in Mariv, when we say the bracha before the Shmoneh Esrei, we're asking Hashem to remove the Satan in front of us and from the back of us. So what does it mean? So are there any two Satans that are standing in front and back? No, so it is one. One before the Nisayon and one after the Nisayon, which means when we have been putting into a test and we overcome the test, so the Satan is before the test or during the test that is trying to fail us. When we overcome, then the Satan is coming after the successful test that we had, and he's trying to convince us that, oh, why you did this, why you did that, trying to put us down, So that's why we're davening to Hashem that He should remove it from the front and from the back, before the Chet, or before the Nisayon and after the Nisayon. So if we're going back to Avraham Avinu, so after the Nisayon HaKadosh שעברו בשלום, so after the holy Nisayon that Avraham and Yitzchak passed successfully, then they went back to the boys, ויקומו והלכו יחדיו, and they stood up and they walked together. So the נערים, the boys, Ishmael and Eliezer, there was like such kind of a divine event, but they were stayed with the donkey. So they were standing there and they were with a broken heart. Why? Because they were not shayach to the great light that came from that event. And Avraham and Yitzchak took this broken heart with them because, and that's what we just mentioned, that the Satan is trying after the Nisayon, or to convince us that it was for nothing and why we did it, or he give us gaiva, who said, wow, I'm unbelievable, superhero, I overcome the test, I'm great. So no, they connected themselves with the broken heart of Yitzchak and Ishmael, not to get into gaiva. So we see here that sometimes the Nisayon itself, it's not the Nisayon really. It's just a mean, just a way to see how we react after the Nisayon. So we can sometimes be depressed, which is wrong. And if we passing the Nisayon, we can fall into pride, into Gaiva, which is also wrong. So we need to find a level of the middle. So not to be depressed because we passed the test, then not to be happy because we passed the test. I think it's a little bit tricky, but this is what Netivot Shalom is trying to teach us here. So we're going back to this part that we started with. Avram Avinu's level of love. In order for him to pass the nisayon of slaughtering his own child, he needed to have fear Hashem, only together. So he connect himself with Yitzchak, which Yitzchak have the level of fear. And then after the nisayon that he passed, in order from keeping him, protecting him, not to fall into gaiva, he needed to connect himself to the humble people that were standing over there with the donkey and had no connection to the nisayon, which was Ishmael and Eliezer. And they both did it, Avram and Yitzchak, to keep themselves humble. Thank you very much for listening, and have a great evening.